Now at 6 o'clock, we know the names of current and former Nike employees accused in a settled sexual harassment lawsuit. Coming up, a live report on those names, which include Air Jordan designer Tinker Hatfield.
If the Department of Education were to be eliminated, there would be some real backsliding.
Plus, local reaction on President Donald Trump's executive order to dismantle the Department of Education.
And one day of March Madness is in the books, a full day yesterday. The question remains, is your bracket already busted? The Oregon Ducks are going to hit the dance floor later today, but we're going to cover where did the March Madness bracket come from, that tradition. All that coming up here in our 6 o'clock hour of Sunrise.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Friday. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. We have Ashley Grams filling in for Chris McGinnis. Rod Hill, exactly where he's supposed to be in the Weather Center. So, Rod, let's start this hour with you.
It is a rainy morning out there. Nothing stormy currently, and really most of the rain rates are being reported as light. But from about Salem northward, it's pretty wet outside overall. If you look carefully, you see the raindrops up over the West Hills. That's our live camera up at the Oregon Zoo. 45 is the temperature. Definitely a kind of a socked in, low cloud, rainy morning from the top of the Wells Fargo building. We're at 49. The wind direction is from the south. Unlike yesterday, we'll notice breezes noticeable at times. Southwest winds gusting all the way up to 20 or 30 miles per hour. Temps will be around 50 much of the day. We will get into some heavier rain rates later this morning, but the rain breaks up pretty quickly, I think, once we get into this evening. That's your forecast. Here's Ashley.
And I know Rod's going to talk a little bit more about some winter weather in the Cascades. I thought we'd start here at Government Camp, and you can see the pavement there on 26, but just on the eastern side of the mountain, a little bit of a different story here. This is 35 at Meadows Drive. So of course, a reminder to carry those chains and those traction tires with you because you don't know how that weather is going to change. And now things are pretty clear in the metro area, but I do want to tell you about a slow spot here just a little bit further down south, just outside of Woodburn. We're hearing about some debris on the roadway in those northbound lanes, so give yourself a little bit of extra time to travel. And that rock slide that we heard about up in Clatskanie, no longer on ODOT's website. It looks like that has been cleared, guys.
All right, thank you, Ashley. Getting back to our top story this morning, we now know the names involved in a settled sexual harassment lawsuit against Nike. Thomas Schultz is covering this story for us near the Nike World headquarters there in Beaverton. So, Thomas, this suit was originally filed in 2018, but again, we're just learning about these names.
Yeah, Drew, we're just learning the names, and there's some high-profile employees at Nike attached to this. One of those is Tinker Hatfield, who famously designed many of the Jordan brand shoes. He's connected to 2 allegations. Now, Hatfield is accused of making sexually explicit comments to a female Nike employee. Another complaint says he was seen engaging in sexual acts with a lower-ranking employee on the Nike campus. We reached out to Hatfield's attorney, but did not yet hear back. They did previously tell the Oregonian these claims are unsubstantiated and unverified anonymous surveys. In a statement, 2018, Nike conducted a large-scale investigation in response to the reports received from employees, including those who responded to an anonymous employee-created survey and took corrective action when appropriate. Again, this is a lawsuit dating back to 2018 that has already been settled. These allegations, we're just learning the names attached because of that. They were recently unredacted documents. If you are interested in learning more or reading the full documents as well, you can find those on KGW.com. Guys.
All right, Thomas Schultz live this morning for us near the Nike World headquarters there in Beaverton. Meanwhile, the company is already expecting a steeper drop in sales this quarter as it continues to push discounts to clear out inventory. Nike cites uncertainty from the impact of higher tariffs on imports from China and Mexico.
Video posted on X by Clackamas Fire shows a fire from Tuesday night. This was the scene on Southeast 65th and Fir Avenue in Portland when fire officials responded to the commercial fire. So you can see the shop was engulfed in flames. No one was injured and the fire was out pretty quickly. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is offering more than $30,000 for tips that led to an arrest and conviction in a wolf poaching incident in Central Oregon. They say someone illegally killed a federally protected gray wolf near Sisters on March 10th. Fish and Wildlife is offering a $10,000 reward in addition to more than $20,000 from a group of conservation nonprofits. Tips can be reported to Oregon State Police. Last night, neighbors had their first chance to learn more about Multnomah County's new 24/7 sobering center in Southeast Portland, something the city hasn't had since 2019.
Yeah, the Sobering and Crisis Stabilization Center is planning to take the place of a long shuttered location run by the nonprofit Central City Concern over on Southeast Grand Avenue. The space will feature up to 50 beds and offer sobering withdrawal management and deflection services.
Yeah, ever since the sobering service shut down in 2019, there's definitely been a gap in that, and so it's been a priority for the county to get those up and going.
The county is set to close on the building April 3rd and hopes to open up the sobering center by the year 2027. Nearly 1,900 full and part-time faculty at the University of Oregon could hit the picket lines before the end of this month. Yesterday, the union representing faculty members in Eugene announced their intent to strike. Negotiations have been going on for a year. So barring any last-minute progress, the union says a strike will start on Monday, March 31st. In a statement, the university says it's committed to negotiating a new contract and says they've already made progress towards that goal. Before we get to Rod Hill, a live look from our Providence Park Sky Cam. We're showing you this because the Portland Thorns are back in action there tonight. Their home opener happens at 7 o'clock. So the Thorns are coming off a 3-1 loss in their season opener last weekend. The club held a training session yesterday morning. We were there. We saw them putting the finishing touches on the game plan for tonight's home opener. Big changes from last year, different roster under head coach Rob Gale. A lot of the key players from last year gone, and some of the key players for this year are injured. So it's something that their general manager says has been a real challenge here in the early going.
Those players are irreplaceable, not just for the Portland Thorns, but for the game. And we really believe that the players that are there today now have an opportunity to step up. This really opens the door for those types of players.
Again, tonight's home opener at Providence Park, set for 7 o'clock. I guess I could ask you about a game plan for that matchup, Rod Hill, but I think what I should ask you is, what does the weather look like there over Providence Park at about 7 o'clock tonight?
Promising.
Okay.
It's possible. We think the steady rain breaks up as early as 5 something or certainly before 6 p.m. tonight. And so while there's a shower threat in your Friday evening forecast, it could be dry. So the steady stuff will be out of here and the weather will be improving. Here is the what's now being labeled as a winter weather advisory. That's a downgrade from a winter storm warning that we did have over the Cascades, meaning not as bad of weather active today. And there's also an advisory for snow outside of Pendleton, going up that sharp grade, getting up into the blues on I-84. So we're still keeping our KGW impact alert for travel over the Cascades throughout the day today, but many spots of the mountains will simply be wet pavement today. So that's much improved weather because temperatures have warmed above freezing at Government Camp. Santee Am is showing wet pavement this morning as well. Snow levels near 4,000 feet much of the day, but it really depends on exactly where you are. So check conditions before you go. Change traction tires with active snow falling out of the clouds throughout the day. Here's the moisture fetch coming into us. This is mostly light rain passing at this hour. There's the Oregon Zoo camera. You can see the raindrops on it out in the West Hills. 44, it's 47 out at PDX, 46 down in Westland. We do have a south breeze out there, generally between 10 and 20 miles per hour at this hour, and that's combined with the cloud cover and keeping our temperatures pretty comfortable, 48 in Salem. I do want to point out the layer this morning. Here's 10 o'clock, and then this afternoon at 3 o'clock, rain rates expected to pick up and get heavier throughout the day. There will be some measurable rainfall across much of our state. Temperatures will be about 50 or a little bit warmer from central Oregon out into the gorge and the valley and the coast today. For your weekend, not much around tomorrow. Some scattered showers, potentially 56 as we start to warm up. Light rain 59 Sunday. And then it happens. We get a couple of very nice spring days. 70 on Monday, 76 on Tuesday. That's your forecast.